Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why you keep going with a challenging task even when the reward seems small? Well, this new study might have a clue. We all know that feeling of working hard on something, and sometimes it feels like it's just not paying off. But what if I told you that the secret to sticking with difficult things isn't just about the reward, but about how you get there? This research dives into why we persist in demanding activities, and it turns out progress and control are a powerful combo. Think about learning a new skill, like playing an instrument or a new video game. Sometimes progress feels amazing. You hit a new chord, you beat a tough level, but what happens when you're trying hard and things just aren't getting better? Scientists have ideas about this. They often think of it as a trade-off. You weigh the effort you put in against the benefits you get. We know about external rewards like money. But what about the internal rewards? The ones that make you enjoy the process itself. This is where things get interesting. Progress, or getting better at something, is a big part of that internal reward. It signals that future success is likely. But here is the catch. Not all progress is the same. Sometimes you get better because you're good and you're practicing, and sometimes, well, it feels like a lucky break. The big question is, did you cause that improvement, or was it just chance? This paper proposes something called the gating hypothesis. It suggests that progress is only truly rewarding when you feel like your actions caused that progress. In other words, controllability, how much your efforts shape the outcome, acts like a switch or a gate for the rewarding feeling of progress. If you feel in control and you see yourself improving, that's super motivating, but if you improve by accident, it doesn't feel nearly as good. Imagine practicing a video game. If you're figuring out the moves and improving, that's awesome. But if the game just randomly gives you a boost, it's not the same kind of satisfaction. This idea is important because it suggests that we don't just care about getting better, but about getting better because we are making it happen. So how did they test this idea? Well, they designed a cool experiment. They had people play a game on a computer in this game. Participants had to find a specific target on a grid of tiles. The trick was, the difficulty of finding the target varied. Sometimes it was easy, based on just one feature, and sometimes it was hard, based on 3 features. This way, they could see how difficulty affected performance. Now, for the key part, control, in one condition, called the controllable condition, participants could freely choose which tile to click on. They had to figure out the rules and make their own choices. In the non-controllable condition, participants still clicked on tiles, but the computer algorithm decided which tile they clicked. It was like they were just going through the motions without real agency. The cool part is they made sure that in both conditions, participants received the same sequence of scores. So objectively, the performance progress was the same. The only difference was whether the participant felt in control of it. After each game, participants were asked how much they enjoyed it, how bored they felt, and how well they thought they performed and improved. They also made choices between games, showing which ones they preferred. And here is what they found, which is pretty mind-blowing. When people felt in control of their actions, they reported enjoying the game much more, especially if they saw themselves making progress. It was like their enjoyment went up hand in hand with how much they improved, but only when they felt like they were the ones causing that improvement. Look at this graph. On the left, you see that in the controllable condition, as progress goes up, so does enjoyment. But in the non-controllable condition, progress didn't really change how much they enjoyed it. It's like the feeling of improvement just doesn't matter if you think it's just happening to you randomly. The right side of the graph shows something similar with average scores. While higher scores generally led to more enjoyment, this effect was also stronger when people felt in control. This wasn't just about how they felt during the game, but also about what they chose afterwards. When given a choice between games, people tended to prefer the ones where they had control, and especially when those controllable games also led to a lot of progress. This shows that the combination of control and progress makes a task more attractive and desirable. Interestingly, the study also found that how much people thought they were improving was a better predictor of their enjoyment than the objective scores themselves. This suggests that our subjective feeling of getting better, especially when we attribute it to our own efforts, is a really powerful driver of motivation. And again, this effect was strongest when participants felt in control. It's like our internal sense of mastery is what truly fuels our enjoyment. And it gets even more interesting. They looked at how people behaved during the game, moment by moment. They found that progress, when it was controllable, actually made people put in more effort. Specifically, they tended to take longer to make decisions, which can be a sign of thinking harder and trying to get it right, especially when they felt their actions were leading to improvement. This was not the case for just the average score, it was the progress that seemed to drive sustained effort. So, what does all this mean? The core finding is that controllability acts as a gatekeeper for the rewarding value of progress. Improvement is motivating, but only if you believe you caused it. This helps explain why even when a task is difficult and the immediate rewards are small, people can still stay engaged, especially if they feel a sense of agency and see themselves getting better. Now, no study is perfect. And the researchers are upfront about that. One limitation they mention is how they measured progress. They looked at the overall trend of scores over a short period like 15 trials. But they admit that learning and progress can be more complex and non-linear, and maybe their way of measuring it wasn't capturing all the nuances. They also suggest that sometimes our subjective feeling of improvement might be a better indicator of what makes us enjoy something than raw numbers. Another point is that this study was done in a fairly controlled game environment. In real life, progress might be harder to see, or occur over much longer periods. Think about learning a complex craft or a difficult academic subject. How controllability plays a role there might be different. They also distinguish between goal progress, getting closer to finishing a specific task, and skill progress, becoming generally better at something over time. This study focused more on goal progress, and future research could explore how controllability influences skill development. But even with these limitations, the main takeaway is powerful. Controllability doesn't just add to motivation, it unlocks the motivational power of progress. When you feel like you're in the driver's seat and you're genuinely getting better, that's a potent recipe for engagement and enjoyment. It suggests that fostering a sense of control is just as important, if not more so than just offering bigger rewards or faster progress. This research highlights that intrinsic motivation isn't just about what you achieve, but about how you achieve it and the feeling of personal agency that comes with it. It's a fantastic reminder that for genuine engagement, we need to feel like our efforts truly matter. And that's it for this mental lab session. What do you think about these findings? Does this resonate with your own experiences? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the science of motivation, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the fascinating world of psychology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.